Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Network Save. Episode 2 is here. Thank you so much for all the good support on episode 1. Some great comments, and the views were pretty damn good, so I'm pretty happy with that. Subscriber count has gone up as well. We are close now to 100 subscribers. So if you've not subscribed already, I'm going to tell you now, hit that button, and we will keep on going. It's Raw versus Smackdown 2016. We're on the road to SummerSlam, and Stu, we are hoping for a better week.
Yeah, you could say that. I'm still quite disappointed because I still believe my show was a good show. The game penalised me for basically not knowing how to use the game quite well yet. But yeah, I've taken notes from that, and hopefully I've got a better show this week, and hopefully I get a better rating. So fingers crossed.
One thing we can confirm is we've changed the product. As you can see here, we are using Wrestling Nerd Nirvana. Whether that's realistic or not for how the time would be, that's up for you to make your decisions on that. We think it probably suits us better of how we want to book the shows. We're going to give it a go. It may not work, we may change again, but we struggled last week and we want to try and make this work. Let's see what happens. Because of course, this is meant to be fun, and if you're losing each week and feeling getting screwed over each week, it's not going to be fun. So let's give this a go. We're going to open up with Monday Night Raw. So that's me, the A show. And we have some big matches planned. Big matches already booked. 3 qualifying matches. Seth and Big Cass, Kevin Owens and Neville, Roman Reigns and Sheamus, and already a triple threat match. Balor, Cesaro and Rusev. The winner of that one will fight for the World Heavyweight Championship at SummerSlam. Stu, you ready?
Yep. Go for it, mate.
Let's do it. We open up with a 60 rated matchup here. That is a little bit weird. Seth Rollins defeats Big Cass to qualify for next week's triple threat match. He continues into this tournament, so to speak. But Seth, with a performance like that, is quite interesting. 63. His popularity is 70. So he was off his game, which explains a lot. Big Cass 46 is pretty good. And Seth defeats the giant, so to speak, to qualify.
60 is a good rating, isn't it? Like, that's a good, just to kick off the show. That's pretty decent.
Just because of how popular Rollins is, I was hoping it'd be a bit better. This is a storytelling matchup because Big Cass just can't steal the show. No, not happening apparently, according to Pat Patterson. So yeah, maybe I'm being a bit harsh on it. Maybe it's pretty good. So Seth qualifies. After the match, he gets on the mic. That's better. That is better. A 72 rated promo from Seth, hyping up the fact that at SummerSlam, he vows to win the World Heavyweight Championship. He's watched some of his heroes, the likes of Ric Flair, the likes of Sting, the likes of Triple H, walk away with that big gold belt. He wants to do the same at SummerSlam. He worked without a script, and he had the crowd in the palm of his hand the entire time. Stu, you weren't expecting that, mate.
I don't know, when it comes to going off the script, sometimes it doesn't always work, but I can't be that surprised. It's Seth Rollins. He's pretty damn good. So
let's try and take that momentum into the next matchup. We've got the Raw Tag Team Champions, The New Day, Big E and Kofi Kingston, of course, joined by Xavier Woods, out there for a matchup against the Shining Stars. I know.
Yeah.
Gets us a 58. I mean, okay, let's talk through this. So Kofi Kingston, let's just talk about the fact that he put in an in-ring performance of 70. That is class. By the way, the tag champs defeat the Shining Stars. Duh. Big E, a 60 performance, pretty good. Primo and Epico, not so good. And a pretty vocal crowd didn't seem particularly thrilled with seeing them. So that is good. I mean, they're undercard guys. Let's give them a chance on Raw, right?
Yeah. If it was a 40, but it's like, high 58, that's really good. So
Kofi really carrying it. In the matchup, though, we should mention some booking stuff here. As the match is going along, Xavier Woods gets sort of tricked into getting involved. The Shining Stars talking a lot of crap to him. Xavier Woods tries to attack. Of course, Big E and Kofi stop him, but the referee says enough of that. Xavier Woods, you're out of here. And Xavier Woods is sent to the back. As Kofi and Big E are celebrating, there's a bit of a raucous noise come out through the Titantron. And Carl Anderson is laughing. A 26 rated segment. And
Oof.
basically what happens is Gallows and Anderson, with Xavier Woods sent to the back, saw that as their opportunity to take out one of the New Day. And they do. Backstage segment where they are throwing him up against anything you can find, steel doors, the lot. And then they hit the magic killer on the concrete outside. Xavier Woods is laid out by the number one contenders for the tag team championships.
Wow. That's a big segment. Not so well though.
I think it could work, and they're evening up the numbers game. Clever heel work, I think. From there we go backstage. Mick Foley is in his office talking to Sami Zayn. Now Zayn, of course, lost last week to Rusev in a triple threat qualifier, and he says, "Look, Sami, you've got a lot of talent, you've got a lot of ability. I believe you are the future of this company, but you need to show it week in, week out." As he's given a little bit of a pep talk to Sami Zayn, in walks Chris Jericho. Jericho also lost last week to Balor. So both men are out of this World Heavyweight Championship race. Jericho is furious, wants more opportunities, and Foley says, "You want an opportunity? Fine, you've got one. Next week, Chris Jericho versus Sami Zayn, 1-on-1.
Well, we got two of the three of the best promo guys in the company, with Mick Foley and Chris Jericho, and then Sami Zayn's not can hold his own. So yeah,
Sami Zayn versus Chris Jericho. I mean, there's some talent on this Raw roster, and I plan on using it, Stu.
good. Well, if you didn't, I'll be very disappointed in you.
Talking about talent on the Raw roster, the second triple threat qualifier is here. It's Kevin Owens versus Neville. Now, when I put this match in on the game, Stu, you actually went, "Oh no, that's good."
Yeah, I did. I got to you're talking about Neville in his prime, especially this heel Neville. Was it or whatever? Now in general is a great wrestler. You got Kevin Owens is great. So in theory, it should be amazing match. It could be the match of the night.
Bastard Puck is not pleased with him saying Neville in his prime there. Which man will join the triple threat? Kevin Owens, 64. It's not bad considering the props, I suppose. It's very much the standard match you would expect these guys to have. It's a 3.25 star matchup. Pretty good, not amazing. Owens off his game again as well.
It seems to be a trend there. Was it Steph's off his game, Kevin Owens off his game? Maybe it's just one of those nights.
Yeah, maybe. 61 apiece, though, pretty good. And both have the quality and the talent that if we bring the popularity up, they can be stars. But as you can see, Kevin Owens wins 15 minutes, a pop-up powerbomb. We were talking through this when we were booking it. You can sort of play this idea that Neville is a high flyer. He can do a springboard sort of move straight into a pop-up powerbomb. Is that what we're thinking?
Yeah, I always love them kind of moves, especially because it's just I love out of nowhere moves matches. So yeah. It's definitely possible in this match.
Well, Kevin Owens is an absolute dick. That's who he is. That's what he is. And after the match, he continues to pummel Neville. Absolutely pummels him over and over and hits a second pop-up powerbomb through the announce table just to add emphasis on the fact that he is one nasty son of a... Well, I won't say it. But you get the point. He is brutal, he is vicious, and he wants one thing and one thing only, the World Heavyweight Championship. He's qualified for the triple threat, and Neville has been, taken out here. We come back from break for Cesaro cutting a promo on tonight's triple threat. We chose Rusev because he's the heel in the triple threat match. Again, Cesaro improvised well. Did well without a script there. Cuts a promo just sort of saying how... Similar to last week about how he wants to bring wrestling back to the Raw brand. He wants to be the guy that everyone watches for the good matches. So make sure you're watching tonight because he's in the ring with two really, really good talent and he is promising quality. In another backstage area, Roman Reigns is walking... We could say he's walking towards the ring, I guess, but he's not actually in the match just yet, but he's sort of walking backstage. And he comes across Rusev. 61 rated, heated confrontation here. Rusev there sort of giving Roman Reigns a bit of stick, talking about it doesn't matter if you beat Sheamus, doesn't matter what you do, because at SummerSlam, Ruru is walking out with both belts. And Roman Reigns, of course, doesn't back down. They don't quite come to blows. Rusev and Lana leave, but it's quite clear that these two, they've got a destiny date, haven't they? In a match that, yes, look, that's 14, fine. but I've done it correctly this time. I have done it correctly. Get off my back. Braun Strowman squashes Sin Cara. Well, I say squash. They had 5 minutes, actually, because if Sin Cara can beat him last week, you can give him a bit of offense here.
It's kind of harsh, man. 14. Maybe it's just Sin Cara's not the right opponent for that Braun, maybe.
Well, it's just the fact that, particularly with the product we're doing now, people who are unknown, they turn on. Like, if you put an unknown guy in at NXT, people are like, oh, this is crap. What's this? Who cares? We go from a squash to 6-man tag action. And this is a match that wasn't originally in the script. We had an extra 15 minutes to fill, so we thought, let's throw 6 stars out there and see how they do. And actually, it's not bad at all. Ryback and Bo Dallas were off their game, which is a bit of a blow. Bo Dallas 28. Ryback, though, 50. Big Show 58. Mark Henry 47. Darren Young 40. Curtis Axel 36. 49. 2.5 stars. That's okay, isn't it, I suppose? Backstage, Charlotte cut a promo on Sasha Banks, and the first one to struggle off script is Charlotte.
It's unusual for her.
It's like she's not even a Flair. Just honestly. Anyway, she got a promo on Sasha Banks talking about Sasha attacking and ruining the coronation of the Queen last week, and saying it's fine because Sasha thinks she wants to revolt against the Queen. Well, she will be dealt with when my number one guardsman here, Dana Brooke, beats her to a pulp tonight. That's the match that's happening next. Dana and Sasha. Just sort of, it's one of these where a segment leads into another segment quite well.
Yeah, I mean, it's always nice to set up like backstage segments to set up a match this next or later at night. They don't do it as much now.
It's quite clear where we're heading with Charlotte versus Sasha, because Sasha's the only babyface. So what else am I meant to do? But,
exactly.
You know, let's work our way there is the best way to say it. The match itself, Sasha and Dana. So I've given Dana nearly 15 minutes on Raw. This could be a train wreck. It's actually not. Well done, Sasha Banks. Well done, Sasha Banks. A 52.
She's proved you right. You said you need, as she's the only face, she's kind of got to carry matches like this, and she did, and she's done a brilliant job.
Yeah, I mean, it still says it's an abysmal match, and the pretty vocal crowd weren't thrilled with seeing Dana Brooke. But you know what?
What do they know?
That's probably Dana Brooke's best match ever.
Well, what do they know? What you know? It's just it's done its purpose. So you know.
It's gained heat to the storyline. Sasha, with another victory, defeats the number one guardsman, so to speak. And yeah, Sasha is picking up momentum, but it won't be the last we see of her tonight. Another man going off scripts and struggling is Finn Balor. Still a 65 rated promo, considering he struggled. That's really good.
Yeah, I can understand. I mean, it's like anything, you kind of expect more or better. But, you know, 65 is good. It's Finn Balor, so.
It's more hype towards tonight's main event, Balor, Cesaro and Rusev for that spot at SummerSlam. But we have one more triple threat to fill in. Rollins is in. Owens is in. Will it be Sheamus or Roman Reigns? The winner in a 63 rated match is Roman Reigns. Now, it's interesting. Both in-ring performances were quite good. 65. 63 is not bad. To be honest, a 3-star match between Reigns and Sheamus is about right.
Yeah.
I think they could have done better. We did choose them to have a wild brawl. Now, with this product, you must have a wild brawl or a car crash or a mayhem match. I thought Reigns and Sheamus was the best match, but the way the shows worked out, it was poorly placed, which makes sense because you need a crowd that are up for it. And after the women's match, I suppose. And Roman Reigns is confirmed for next week. It's going to be Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens. Wow.
That's a tasty main event for next. You know, that's a tasty main event. That's good.
That's a tasty main event for any pay-per-view, let alone a Raw main event. So this should be good. After the matchup, as Roman Reigns is celebrating, he is attacked by the United States champion Rusev for a 61. Nice. He comes in, hits the Mochka kick, and locks Roman Reigns into the accolade. Accolade? Was it an accolade?
Accolade. Yeah.
Yeah. And he locks him into it. Roman Reigns obviously doesn't tap, but Rusev has put a message out there to Reigns after the confrontation earlier tonight. I do kind of feel like if I was watching this, I would be a bit like, Right, Rusev, you know you've got a triple threat match tonight, right? Do you really want to piss off someone like Roman Reigns?
Well, the old poke the bear situation. Yeah, do you really want to like antagonize him when you've got a triple threat match? Not the best idea.
Before we get to the main event, though, another backstage segment in Mick Foley's office. In comes Sasha Banks. Congratulates Sasha Banks on the victory. And Mick says, you know what? You've got some momentum. You're doing really well. I want to give you an opportunity next week. Next week, you are going to go 1-on-1 with former Divas champion, former NXT Women's champion, Paige. Now, Sasha, if you can win that match, you will take on Charlotte at SummerSlam. We've got one more match left, the main event. Now, of course, last week we did Balor versus Jericho, and it sucked. Hopefully this week is much better. Yeah. I'm hoping it will be on this product. 3 good workers that sort of internet fans would get along with. Balor, Cesaro and Rusev. I think it'll be good, Stu.
Yeah, what's the rating you're thinking of? What do you think it's going to get, like, if you're going to be optimistic?
I think it'll get 68.
Yeah, that sounds like reasonable. Yeah, 68, 65, right about that.
Which isn't fantastic, don't get me wrong, but obviously you've got to remember this is the first couple of weeks in the save, so the more popularity builds up as well, those ratings will higher. So, Balor, Cesaro and Rusev, which man is going on to SummerSlam to fight for the World Heavyweight Championship? The winner is Finn Balor. 58. Yeah, that's 10 off, weren't I? I'm a little disappointed with this. Balor an in-ring performance of 56 seems a little low. Cesaro 59 seems low. Rusev 62 isn't bad at all. And then Balor wins. That's the main thing. It hasn't actually shown what I put as the finish here, which is annoying. It was an elimination style match, so you can say Rusev eliminates Cesaro first. He taps him through the accolade or pins him after a match kick, whichever one suits you more, I guess. Rusev pins Cesaro, and now he's confident because he's up against Balor, who he doesn't really know much about at this point. And he thinks, right, this is my moment. I'm going to get this done. And they have a good little matchup, but Balor surprises the odds again. Second week in a row, he surprises the odds and wins. Finn Balor is in to the match at SummerSlam.
I mean, could it got a lower rating point for the fact that at this period, Finn Balor's not as well known, or in the sense of the eyes of Raw fans? Yeah,
potentially, but I think that we're going to have to deal with these sort of ratings for a little while, to put Balor over big time to the point that his popularity improves, I guess. I wonder what this is going to be. What do you reckon, show rating? I think we've had a pretty decent show. Everything's been about 60.
Well, it's going to be maybe 60, again, 65.
The show rating is 55. I think it's a bit harsh. The best thing on the show was the Rollins promo. So I really need to start building around Rollins as the guy. He had one of the best matches and the best promo on the show. I think the best match on the show is probably the 64 between Owens and Neville, which isn't a surprise that that's the best match on the show. Reigns and Sheamus had a decent match as well. It's just a shame that the main event, they didn't quite get everything they could get out of it. But I think for a first couple of weeks of a save, it could be worse.
Oh, it's it's not bad, but it's not great. It's just solid. 55 is a solid number. You've got something to build on.
Yeah.
But it depends on what you got last year. I think you ran about the same last week, wasn't it?
Might have been. You've also got to remember when you're watching these as well that the games sometimes the angles don't correlate. So I feel like we've had some pretty big angles here as well. The club attacking Xavier Wood, that's a big angle. Owens put Neville through a table here. You've got Reigns and Rusev getting involved with each other, talking.
Yeah.
So maybe I think it's a bit harsh. Let's have a look quickly what it was last week for anybody that wasn't quite sure. I think it was below 50, to be honest.
Would have been at 48.
It might have been. We didn't have I think if I looked at the top 100, you'd probably look that Owens and Neville match is probably our match of the save so far.
Yeah, definitely. It's just I think it's one of these situations. It's always going to be when you don't have the top stars kind of in your sort of show. It's always going to suffer early on.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've probably got more stars than you in one way. in terms of potential stars, I guess. Whereas
You've got more time.
I've got more time as well, which I don't necessarily think is always a good thing. But you've got like Orton, you've got John Cena in there, you've got there was someone else I was thinking of, but he's completely gone. So Raw was okay. So let's have a look at our show history. So the last Raw was a 45. So we've improved.
Yeah. So it's about, so if you look at it like that, it's definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's a better show this week, because last week you had Cesaro, Curtis Axel, Sasha, Alicia. You had the Club and Golden Truth, Owens and Darren Young. Whereas this week you've got Owens and Neville. You had a 6-man tag, which was pretty good.
Yeah.
Sasha did well. Roman and I think this week's better. So let's see what you could do. You've got to beat 25. So it shouldn't. I mean, 25 for that is ridiculously harsh. By the way, I'm still looking. At that is ridiculously harsh. There was nothing. Like everything on the rating was over 25.
I know. I think it's just because I think what happened with that situation changed the way it was, like halfway through. It's like you have a different setting to mine. So, but maybe this time it might be more even, because it's like we're both on the same. Like we've figured out what kind of wrestling we want to do. So on the game. So hopefully, in theory, I mean, I can't get any lower, can I? Can you? You'd have to have like the worst. Everything would have to be so bad. So the rating can only go up. So positive.
Let's see how it goes. We'll move on to SmackDown. Okay, then SmackDown next. And actually, I think I'm saying this beforehand. You might have a better show this week. Let's find out. We're going to open up with a matchup, Stu, aren't we? WWE Champion in action. I will hand over to Stuart Irvine and click start the show.
Let's have a look. 62 is that?
62. Pretty good, actually. Not a bad start to the show. So you got to look at the popularities. Dean Ambrose 65, Del Rio 59. Not bad.
Yeah, I mean exactly what I kind of wanted that, because I thought, okay, WWE Champion opening the show in action is kind of like a big deal. So and obviously it's kind of set it up as a sort of thing last week with the whole thing with Del Rio interrupting his interview. But yeah, it's this whole thing. It was supposed to be a match that kind of like just got Dean over, because obviously it wasn't in action last week, so kind of need to show his face and show he's still here, especially when there's the number one contenders match later on the night of someone challenging his title. So had to put him on the show, and then I'm pretty happy with that actually. 62, that's good. Really good.
I think it's pretty good. Good way to start the show. WWE Champion in action, popular star, makes total sense. He defeats a pretty good opponent. Bit of legitimacy to him. Good start. We'll move on.
Yes, obviously. Wow, 61. Makes you wow. But yeah, basically, my whole thing about this is obviously after this they cut to AJ doing an interview. Basically, they're all talking about asking about number one contendership match later on in the night. He's kind of just going out saying, the usual heel stuff, where he's like, I'm going to destroy Ziggler. I'm going to prove to the world that why I'm phenomenal, and why soon SmackDown will be the house to AJ Styles, and all that kind of like heel stuff. But the way I was hoping to do it is have a situation where while he's doing that interview, like you can see in the background, kind of like Dean Ambrose just coming back from his match. So it's sort of like it feels like everything's happening in between, or it's like it's happening like there and then. Yes, and then obviously Dean confronts him and kind of says, confronts him and kind of says, if you want this title, you have to take it from my, you have to take it from my gold dead hands, if you want this title. And and it kind of, as always, it kind of turned into some sort of like stare off, kind of intense stare off. And obviously AJ doesn't want to start anything, so he's got a match tonight, so he kind of walks off. But yeah, it's kind of to build their kind of tension and heat, rivalry type thing. And and I think obviously it like 61, it's pretty good. Obviously, AJ's really good on the mic, so yeah, that's
AJ's annoying heel manner, getting himself into a little bit of trouble perhaps. I quite like the idea of that. Dean doesn't back down from a challenge. Good. 61, good start to the show, I think. What have you got next for us?
Well, obviously, while this is happening, that's fine. But basically, what my plan was is a situation of like while that's happening as well. It's kind of because I've been watching a lot of old WWF type stuff, and it's like while that's happening, it's like the cameras. Oh, we've got something's happening in the background, and so there's like the camera's sort of moving towards this situation where you got Eric Rowan sort of attacking Apollo Crews, proper chucking him everywhere and putting him through. Was it lifting him up like a gorilla press style, and then putting him through a table? Sort of like the high thing is supposed to set up something for later in the night. But yeah, it's just watching that, I realised, watching old WF, it was like, that's the kind of stuff that they had. It's kind of like just something that you just when you think it's going to cut to a match, there's another segment happening. And that's what I wanted this to kind of be. So, and a good thing.
Anything can happen feel for SmackDown Live. That makes a lot of sense. Rowan backstage as a bully, Apollo Crews, the face that takes the beating, unfortunately. But yeah, I like it. You're building something else later. Makes a lot of sense to me.
Well, 25, that's pretty good. I mean, especially with not really known, so I guess that's why it's got a low rating, I assume. Yeah, I mean, of the whole situation, again, it's just like last week, I just want to sort of like grow the sort of women's division so that they all get a chance to shine. Obviously, Becky had last week, and obviously Alexa Bliss kind of has her shot. But yeah, I mean, it's just Alexa. I want Alexa Bliss. I mean, in this case, it's sort of like just a standard pinfall. But in my kind of like story, it's supposed to be like a cheat win. She's supposed to like put 2 foot on the ropes and gets like the leverage to get the win. He'll do one, so it's just little thing to add. But yeah, I mean, you can't be.
Kind of got to take these sort of ratings, particularly with the SmackDown Women's Division, and actually, it's kind of realistic because at the time, SmackDown's Women's Division was bottom of the barrel. It was Becky was the biggest star, and this was a Becky that wasn't very popular. And then you had a load of women come up from NXT, so you got to build them, which is what they did. Alexa Bliss was built from nothing to something, so you've got to deal with these ratings for now. Just focus on the booking, and that's what works here.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yes, and then we go to another segment backstage. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Basically, it's the whole way this is booked is obviously Becky's watching backstage on the TV, kind of looking at that, maybe not watching that match, kind of like. Obviously, I put that she cheated, so it's like she looks disappointed and kind of upset that sort of was it Alexa Bliss is acting this way, and then while that's happening, Natalya comes in, kind of like looking like she's fed up of being overlooked, kind of fed up of being disrespected, and there's no one's going to get in her way now to rise to the top of the SmackDown Women's Division and be a top star that she knows she is. Obviously, Becky Lynch takes exception to this. And kind of looks at her going like, yeah, well, you paved the way for the women's division in this industry, but now it's time for new blood. Natalya does not like this at all. I thought I'd do something a bit more than just sort of slapping. So what I did is I kind of done a very Chris Jericho sort of Shawn Michaels situation where was it Becky Natalya holds Becky's hair and smashes her face into the TV monitor. To kind of start off a kind of proper heated kind of set up the match for like a big match next week, and just to add a bit of edge to the sort of the product a little bit maybe.
No, makes total sense. I'd be pretty pleased with that as well. Pretty good.
Wow. Okay. Yes. Obviously, next match again the same. I'm kind of doing similar things with like the tag team division and the women's division. Kind of have to build them up. So I'm giving all the tag teams a chance to be on the show. Obviously, American Alpha and the Breezango were last week, and obviously now the Vaudevillains and obviously a new tag team against the veterans, sort of the Usos. But yeah, it was basically a situation like last week's, where it's sort of like the Vaudevillains show what they can do, the Usos can prove why they're as good as they are, and yeah, they get the win. It's funny enough exactly what I put as the finish, called the double Samoan splash to get the win. But yeah, that's 43. That's pretty good, really good actually for what I thought.
The most popular acts on the brand, really, this to me. Not the most, obviously, but they're up there and worth using.
Yeah, and it's best tag team that I've got. So, well, yeah, but yeah, okay. But then that leads into a. That's fine. But yeah, so basically, this started with a situation where we go to backstage with America. We go to American Alpha. Kind of there again, they're talking about the main event. Kind of thinking, who do you think's going to win the main event tonight? To kind of big up that it's the most. So everyone's talking about it in backstage to big up the main event. And then while they're talking about the Usos come in after their big win, kind of bragging about that, like showing off, sort of like saying, well, this proves why we are the best tag team in the world. And obviously American Alpha heard this and took exception to this, saying, kind of saying stuff like, people are talking about this tag team division more in a week than you have when you're on top. So it's kind of saying that they're the new up and coming team. So the way this sets up is kind of like the American Alpha challenged the Usos at like SummerSlam to kind of go, okay, you want to prove you're the best, prove it. And so that kind of sets up that match for the SummerSlam. So it's more of it's kind of put across as like a one-upmanship, kind of like, like sort of prove who's the best tag team in the world.
Pretty good. Two of the best tag teams on SmackDown. Makes sense to have them face off at one of the big 4 pay-per-views. Yeah, 38 is a bit low. I mean, Jey Uso struggled going off script, but it's interesting that the others didn't. Worth remembering. When we were looking through this, we found that actually Jason Jordan has 90 star quality on this. He's someone that's probably worth pushing down the line. 38 will move through.
Damn. I didn't go according to plan, but that's fine.
Well,
I still got
down to the popularities. Shelton, I think he's at a 15, 20 popularity at this point.
Yeah, but that's fine. But I mean, for what I was going for, the match was supposed to be this kind of situation. I thought, okay, Shelton Benjamin. Kalisto's pretty good. But it was supposed to be more of, again, because obviously Kalisto got a big win last week against Eric Rowan. So, well, for the sides anyway. So this is kind of push Kalisto a bit more. And the way this is, obviously, it was kind of a Kalisto gets a kind of like another big win, but Shelton Benjamin takes exception to this and basically attacks him after the match and kind of hits his finisher and just walks off annoyed because he's lost to someone like Kalisto, because he's Shelton Benjamin. He's the gold standard. You shouldn't be losing to people like this. So that kind of could turn into something with Shelton Benjamin. Obviously, and Kalisto looks good because he gets the win. So it's a good thing.
It's a pretty good performance there, actually. 49. It's better than I was expecting from Kalisto. I think his popularity is about a 35 or a 40. So he's performed well. You've asked him to steal the show, and he's gave it his best shot.
So I can ask. Okay, now we go next. We go into that's fine. Again, it's you're saying it's all about the popularity rating, right? So but the whole this whole story is kind of built on an idea that sort of like Eric Rowan is kind of like lost without anyone, kind of like without anyone to guide him or kind of like help him. He's kind of like he loses his head. He can't think straight, and he makes bad choices. So this I put a tables match because obviously it's set up early on the night with the whole thing of putting Apollo Crews through a table. So but the whole thing was supposed to be a situation where Eric sort of like he's like similar to last week. He's getting cocky. He's kind of he could have ended the match early, put him through a table, but he wants to make the biggest impact. So. But that cost him in the end when he goes on top. It's like go on top, and he was trying to hit the power bomb, but it gets countered, and he goes for the table. So it's more of he loses because he made a mistake more than anything else. And
when we put it together, you said to have Eric Rowan win.
Did I? No. Oh, did I? My bad. Ha! That's bound to happen eventually. But that was my whole story was supposed to be that he didn't win, but it's fine. That's fine. It's a bit of a cock up in that end. It's bound to happen eventually. You had
Rowan trying to prove he can go out on his own. Bray Wyatt watching on, and Eric Rowan absolutely obliterates Apollo Crews in a brawl type thing. Apollo puts his best out there, looks like he could win a few times, but Eric Rowan's starting to show what he can do.
Possibly, yeah. I mean, I think for me, I'm just obviously I'm probably spoiling for like thing in the air, but I just want to have a reason for him to go back and not just like put him together with him. I want it to have a reason. So because I get tired of things being a situation where it's just like someone just joins up again just for no reason. It kind of has to have a reason. So that was the plan, but that's fine. Many mistakes, all right. Okay, so obviously, right, leads into. So I'm very happy with that. Yes, obviously this is kind of set up. Obviously, the idea was this is supposed to be just before Dolph Ziggler goes out to the ring for his main event match. Dean sort of clocks him, or kind of like sees him before, wants to wish him good luck, and tells Dolph that I want to face you, because obviously he wants to see AJ get his ass handed to him. So. Yeah, and then obviously that happens, and obviously Dolph says thank you, and obviously he goes off his match, and then the Miz comes in, like similar to last week, kind of coming in saying to like Dean, I was like, why are you wishing that guy luck? He's a loser. Is it like you want to face weaker challengers, or do you actually want to face a real challenger like me, the most must see Intercontinental Champion of all time? And sort of Dean looks him straight to him and says, "You think I can't beat you? You think I'm not better? You don't think I'm better than you? What about next week you prove it, and you can show me how awesome you really are?" And that kind of sets up for next week, as well as bigs up the main event as well. So like a double whammy.
Right. I mean, I like the idea of Dean and The Miz. I'm just going to say, I kind of feel like the character of Dean Ambrose, particularly at this time, wouldn't care who he faced. Like, I know like he's a bit annoyed at AJ from earlier, but I just can't see Dean Ambrose going, "I want you to win, Dolph."
Fair enough. Yeah, I just want to find a way to interact with the. So it's like the Miz was there.
I like the end. I like the end product of it. I like the idea that we're going to get Dean and the Miz. That makes total sense. Just one thing that came to me, I just can't see him saying it. But either way, it works. It's a good segment, and you move into, I think it's your main event next.
Yep. Hopefully this delivers, because the whole show rides on it, I guess.
Winner faces Dean Ambrose for the WWE Championship at SummerSlam, and it gets you 57 is okay. There's a couple of things you've probably been brought down on. The fact that AJ technically in-game hasn't turned heel yet. That's something we're still trying to sort out.
Okay.
But you were let down by the fact that Dolph was off his game.
Yeah, but that's fine. I mean, it's going to bring down the show a lot, isn't it? Ah, damn. I don't know if it's like, if maybe we should have told you like the finish of it, because I don't know if you could have put that in, but it doesn't really matter. But anyway, but the point is, this match was supposed to be like really good main event. It's supposed to be kind of like AJ's getting cocky with Dolph because he doesn't take him seriously. Thinking, why is he here? But obviously Dolph gets back into it and that kind of stuff. And I want to kind of, what I wanted to do is find a way for the Miz to get involved and kind of screw Dolph type situation. So I guess with this end of the submission, I can easily go on the fly and say, okay, so the Miz comes in, kind of distracts Dolph Ziggler, to kind of like, and then turns around, and then obviously AJ Styles hits the calf crusher, and it gets him to tap out. So it's like, so basically the Miz costs Dolph Ziggler his title match, chance to go for the WWE title, and that sets up their feud, like to why he wants to go against the Miz. And obviously AJ
gives you a 49. So better. But
100% better.
Yeah, well, yeah, better, but still not quite good enough, Stu. I'm afraid, ladies and gentlemen, for the fans of Smackdown, that means we can get it up, ding, ding, ding on the screen. It is Raw 2, Smackdown 0.
But it's fine, because now, last week I was, I'm fine. I mean, it's different. Like, you take an early lead, but we're in this for the long haul. So I'm happy. I'm just happy that my show got from 25 to 49. So
Next week's pretty important because there are 2 weeks left of shows before SummerSlam. So if I win next week, I get the SummerSlam main event.
Yeah. So I guess it's a make or break for me when it comes to SmackDown then, isn't it? So it makes it very interesting.
Very interesting. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of the episode. Another win for Raw because it's the A show. It'll be another win next week because we've got a massive main event. Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens. Like, I could put that match And that's it for the whole show, and it's still going to be a better show than what he does, so it's fine. Also, you've got some
Cockiness.
also, you've got some pretty cool stuff happening on SmackDown. To be fair, Dean Ambrose and The Miz should be pretty good. So, yeah, things are looking good going into SummerSlam. Let us know what you think. Raw or SmackDown? Who was the better show? It was Raw. We know that, but
No, it's SmackDown. Don't listen to him. SmackDown. It's fine.
bit of a sympathy vote. That's fine. I've got no issue with that.
Sympathy vote. I can't believe you just said that. Unbelievable. I'm going to blow you out of the water next week.
Well,
next time
he's going to have to bring the big stuff. So yeah, make sure you're watching. Subscribe to the channel for more. And yeah, this should be pretty interesting for anybody that isn't watching the other Total Extreme Wrestling Save. One, why aren't you? And two, next week, make sure you watch their third pay-per-view of the series. I want to run this by you now, Stu. It's Extreme Rules. It's not the horror show of Extreme Rules. It's just Extreme Rules, because stop being nonsense. For a WWE Championship match, it's got to be an Extreme Rules match, surely. So it's Drew versus Orton.
Oh, she done that match early.
Done it a month early. And the Universal Championship is a fatal four-way matchup. Braun Strowman versus Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan versus Sheamus.
Oh, I like that. Well, 3 out of the 4 working, but yeah.
Yeah. To back that up, you've got an Intercontinental Championship match between Sami Zayn and Big E, a United States Championship match between Andrade and Aleister Black.
Oh God, that's really. Oh no, that's going to be great. That's going to be stealing the show. I know that for a fact.
Well, not with this one. Also on the card, you've got 2 big gimmick matches. There's a ladder match with the Money in the Bank briefcase at the top. AJ Styles and Kevin Owens for the vacant Money in the Bank briefcase.
Vacant? Maybe I need to go back and watch your shows to get day. I think.
Yeah, and there's also going to be an I Quit match between Seth Rollins and Rey Mysterio, because eye for an eye is stupid. For the record, stupid.
It's not just me then. It's not just me that didn't think that was yeah.
But that's next week. That's next Sunday. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and you will see that. Wednesday sees the final week of shows going in to the pay-per-view. So that should be, let's just say that's got to be interesting as well. Keith Lee versus Roderick Strong on NXT. Yes, that is in.
Oh, that's yes, yeah, yes, please. And
yes,
that's
please. And a main event on Raw of Randy Orton versus Aleister Black. So don't miss it.
Actually, might be. That's I'll definitely watch it.
So if he would watch it, and you saw the type of shows that he thinks are good, mine must be really good. So.
Is that supposed to say that my ability is not good, or you just like is another dig at me again?
That's the end of the episode. We are there, so make sure you subscribe, like the video. Really, really good response to the first one. Hopefully, we'll have the same for this one. Should we set a like target, Stu? I never really do this. Should we set a like target? So the last one, as of recording, got 5 likes. Do you think we can make 10?
Yeah, I think so. I think, the 100%. I think we can get 10. Should we aim for 10?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go for that. Let's go for 10.
If we don't get 10, if you've watched this and haven't liked it, all you're revealing to us is that you really do think 2017 was the best year in the WWE, and we all know it wasn't. So, until next time. Peace. Do say goodbye.
Okay. Bye, everyone. Hope you enjoy, and see you next time. Bye.
Did you say love and joy?
No, I said, hope you enjoyed this one.
Fair enough. Peace.